the state government has revealed that these 40 workers actually managed to continue to retain their working with children checks until they were revoked just recently. And now that's after all of that really concerning news that we had in recent months about serious misconduct and abuse cases happening within the Victorian childcare sector. Of course, those dozens of charges, you'll remember, Kath, involving Joshua Dale Brown, the childcare worker, and other issues which have been since raised within the media, which have really caused quite a lot of alarm in parents and also just anybody really listening to this information about what has been going on with the childcare centres. Now, these 40 working with child permits have been able to be cancelled now as a result of overhauls and reforms that have come into effect. And that effectively means that the childcare regulator now has the power to revoke those permits. And amazingly, quite remarkably, this hasn't been the case previously. So the childcare regulator has been able to ban childcare workers from going to centres because they pose an unacceptable risk to children, and yet these people are still able, or were still able, to retain their permits until recently. So the ABC heard about some of these cases, they were alerted to this, and so they decided to do a little bit of digging, and the investigations team here at the ABC actually asked the state government to provide some of the data to find out exactly how widespread this is. And we've found out that it was 78 individuals that were listed by the childcare regulator. The 40 who have had their childcare or working with children check revoked, these are the 40 whose permits were still valid. So that encompasses all of them now who no longer are able to have a permit, which is thankfully good news for many parents out there seeking a little bit of peace of mind. But it's not just the Victorian government which is looking at ways of being able to make the childcare sector safer and more secure for children. This is also happening on a national level. So we've obviously already had the ministers from states and territories, as well as federal, the education ministers coming together and agreeing on a suite of changes and reforms. They include things like introducing CCTV at childcare centres, as well as adopting that national register for childcare workers and also mandatory training as well, which should provide a little bit more peace of mind for parents having to drop off the most precious things in their lives, after all, their children, to childcare centres.